right, hey everybody, and welcome to Site Review Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I am Robert with Zenfolio Customer Success, and I want to say thanks for joining us today for Site Review Tuesday. So you guys are gonna have to bear with me. This is a weird Site Review Tuesday because this is the first time we're doing a webinar combined with YouTube Live. So some of you guys are watching on Zoom, some of you guys are watching on YouTube. That's two audiences that I have to try to keep track of, plus two different kind of software things going on. So bear with me. I'm going to do the best that I can do to make sure that this is a smooth experience. Please let me know if you have any audio issues, seeing any issues with my screen or anything like that. Okay, if you're new to Site Review Tuesday, this is how it works. So first of all, if you've been with us for a while, make sure you say hi to us in the chat. You know how this works. Go ahead and throw a number out in the chat. Let me turn my Slack notifications off really quick. I don't know if I'll be able to turn it off or not. Okay, so sorry about that. So to get things started, go ahead and throw a number out in the chat, 1 through 105. The way it works is we're going to review 3 websites today. Every site's going to get, not every site, each site that's reviewed will get 15 minutes per review. The third site is going to come from one of you guys who are hanging out with us in the live chat audience. So whether you're on Zoom or you're on YouTube, you should see a link somewhere in the chat or in the description below the video where you can actually submit to your site to be reviewed. And like I said, that third and final site is going to be coming from you guys, one of you guys watching us live. Okay, and as always, we're going to be giving points, but we're not keeping score. This is all in fun just to make sure that you enjoy the experience, that you have a beautiful website, and we're here to help you with that. Okay, some quick announcements. Well, actually, really quick, let me say thank you to my mod. Katie is hanging out with me, taking care of you guys there on YouTube and chat. Super thankful to have Katie. They're helping me out, so make sure you guys show her some love. And then some quick announcements I want to throw up here. So this Thursday, you guys, is the 200th episode of Zenfolio Live. We're going to have a special guest, travel photographer extraordinaire, Laura Greer, is going to be hanging out with us, and she's going to be talking about how you can use social media. So we're going to focus a lot on Instagram, but how to use social media to grow your business. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing a really cool giveaway, and we're going to be doing some other stuff as well. So it's a really amazing, it's going to be a really amazing live stream that you guys will want to make sure that you join. You can actually register now. So for those of you guys who are hanging out with us on Zoom, you already know this, but you can actually register now for emails when we go live, whether it's Site Review Tuesday or Zenfolio Live. So you guys hanging out on YouTube, Dee Barber, Doug, Roxanne Bay, let's see, Zubair, all of you guys, if you go down to the description below the video, you can actually click on that description, and in there, there'll be a link to where you can register for Site Review Tuesday, or you can register for Zenfolio Live, or you can do both, and you'll get email notifications. And then you have the option to join us on Zoom or on YouTube. So some of you guys are hanging out with us on Zoom. Let's say I see Dean, James, Larry, and Tom. All of you guys are hanging out with us on Zoom. I am moderating that chat as well, so feel free to use that chat. We're not really going to use the Q&A section at this on the Site Review Tuesday because we don't really have time for a Q&A. But if you guys want to use that chat in Zoom, you can as well. I am moderating that chat. Okay. Let's see, if you're watching the recorded version of this and also the recorded version of Zenfolio Live, if you're watching that on YouTube and you want to skip ahead, look in the description below. I've been putting timestamps down there for you guys to skip ahead as well. So make sure that you check those timestamps out. That's going to help you skip ahead to different sections of the recording there on YouTube. All right, last but not least, guys, we continue to challenge you. This week I'm going to say, or this month I'm going to say, I want to challenge you guys to post your favorite travel photos on your social media, right? Let's post some beautiful images. Let's make people smile. Let's brighten up social media with your beautiful photos. And when you do that, use the hashtag Zenfolio Photographers for a chance for that image to be featured on our social media. Okay, let me go back and let me check on you guys in chat and see what the first number was that was thrown in there. It looks like Kathy got that first number, which was number 63. So that's going to be the first site that we review. So I'm going to go ahead and get site 63 pulled up. We're going to switch over here to my main screen. And we'll get site 63 pulled up here. Okay, So site 63 looks like it's going to be photoadventure.com. So let me get this kind of just pulled over here so you guys can see it. Photoadventure.com. I'm going to put 15 minutes up on the review clock and we'll get that review going. All right, so let me go ahead and get that started, that timer up. There we go. Okay, so first of all, let me just pull this down so you guys can see that URL. It is photoadventure.com. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this down a little bit further so you guys can see the up here at the top. So one of the things that I talk about a lot on Site Review Tuesday is up here in the top, this little title right here. So this is something you guys, if you've hung out with us for a while, or if you're just now joining us for the first time, this is something you guys hear me talk about all the time. And I want to clarify that when I talk about this text right here, it doesn't really matter in the sense of where we're seeing it right now. What this matters for is because this information is really important to Google. Right? This is the title of this page. Google picks up on this information. This happens to be one of those settings that we usually set up at the very beginning when we create our account, and then we typically forget to go back and really do anything with this. So what you want to include in here, more than just your business name, is your location and the type of photography that you do, right? So photo tour adventures in Wisconsin. So it looks like you're in Wisconsin. So that information up here at the top, maybe if there are some specific locations that you like to shoot, maybe just include that information. And again, this is one of those settings that we typically set up right when we first create our account. And so just to really quickly show you guys where that's at, if you go into edit view of your account, let me just go in here really quick. Some of this stuff I will have time to show you guys how to fix. Some of it I might not have time and we'll have to move on. But just to show you where to make that change, if you hover over your account name right here and you click on account, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go down here to website right there on the bottom left, click on that, go to search engine optimization, and it's going to be this homepage title right here. And so this is kind of the information that you want to include in that homepage title is this right here. See how I have the type of photography I do, the location that I do that in, and then the website description. While you're in here, that website description is really important as well. So make sure that you put more information in that website description than I just have right here. All right, so that's the first thing I wanted to kind of talk about on here. Now let's just go ahead and kind of take this and go from the top down. So I do love the logo right here. I think this is really cool. I love that you have a lot of really good text information, not just a bunch of text information, but you have useful information. You have the state, you have several different locations and stuff in here. One of the things that I'm not seeing in here is really the words photography, photographer, anything like that. So just little keywords like that that you could add into here that will, again, make sure that this is helping your SEO. Yes, you want this to be a nice introduction to your website. You want it to greet people, but you also want this to be beneficial for your search engine optimization. And so including keywords in this sentences, in this text is going to be super, super helpful for that. All right, let's go ahead and talk about this kind of slideshow over here. So first of all, some absolutely beautiful photos, Tom. Just really, really amazing photos. Like I'm ready to get out and do some traveling. So thumbs up on that. Some absolute beautiful photos. One of the things that is a little off-putting to me is the kind of the orientation of this slideshow. So I know you have this sidebar text and you have this slideshow over here, and it's kind of squeezing these images in this fit. So I would probably, personally, I would probably go back and explore other layout options, especially for your landscape photos. I mean, look at that. That's magnificent. That photo was just beautiful. But especially for those landscape photos, I would love to see a layout that really broadcast those images more in full view, really gives me that image and it's a full presentation and not this little kind of condensed version. Now, the other thing that you could think about is you could think about switching around the order of these images, because this particular slideshow, the orientation of it is pulled from the first image in the slideshow. And so if you have like a portrait oriented image in there, all the rest of the images displayed in that slideshow will kind of be force fit into that portrait oriented orientation, kind of like we're seeing right now. Again, some absolutely beautiful photos though. Would definitely reconsider bringing in a full layout where you can see these images in full view because they're just absolutely beautiful. Let's go ahead and go down here. Really quick. Normally, I don't like having the about section on the homepage, but in this case, I think that it's perfectly fine. It actually looks nice and clean. I think your setup is pretty clean, other than I really want to see these images larger, but I don't mind this too much. I do think that personally for me, what I might consider or suggest that you might think about doing is going back here, removing the about section, finding a layout that will drop this welcome message down here, and then letting your images span across the top, because we already have all this welcome message text that's really nice. You could just have it moved down here, get rid of the about message, show the about message on an about page, and then really let your images come through in a larger view. So something to think about. Again, some beautiful images there. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at your portfolio next. So we're going to go right over here and click on portfolio. And we're just going to take a look at this really quick. So one of the things that I would definitely suggest is anytime you're setting up a portfolio where you're going to have different categories, kind of like what you have here. One of the things that I would suggest is that you think about utilizing a drop-down menu, because as a visitor comes to your site, right, we have to remember that people's attention spans are about that long these days, right? And when they come to your site, if it starts taking them a while to navigate back and forth through different areas of your account, then there's a high potential that you're going to lose them. And so one of the ways that you can make your portfolio much quicker and more efficient to navigate through is utilizing a drop down up here. So rather than clicking on portfolio and going to where we now have to click on these categories, you could save us that first initial click by letting this be a drop down to where then we see, okay, fine art, landscape, portraiture, animals, and sports from a drop down right here. Now, that's going to be super beneficial for the navigation of your portfolio the first time, but then as people start going through your different portfolios, this type of navigation that you have right now, as I'm about to show you, can get really cumbersome because you always have to click and come back to the portfolio page to then go and view another portfolio. So if I click on this and then I jump into fine art, all right, and we take a look at fine art really quick. All right, and so we're taking a look at fine art. Again, you have some absolutely beautiful photos, but now if I want to go back and view another portfolio, I have to then click back on portfolio and then re-click on another gallery. So setting up that drop down will really, really make that navigation of your portfolio so much faster for visitors. Okay, let's see. Dean on Zoom says, on the website description, should they be keywords, bullets, or a narrative text? You want it to be narrative. It's on the website description. You want it to be narrative. Dean, what you want to do is you want to go do a quick Google search for a photographer, and the text that you see under the bold blue heading on Google, like the informational text, that's the website description. So do a couple of searches. Whatever you see search ranking higher, pay attention to what information is included in those text blurbs underneath them. And that's kind of what you want to put in that website description. Great question though. Okay, let's see. Back to your portfolio. Let's go to this fine art gallery right here and click on this. And we're just going to go ahead and quickly view in here because I noticed a couple of things that I typically recommend having turned on in your portfolio that are kind of turned off. And so a couple of things here that I always like to mention that you really want to think about. One of those being right here where your gallery title is fine art. While we title our galleries a lot of times for us personally in our organization, in our account, when you're setting up things like portfolios, where these are public facing galleries that you hope are going to draw traffic to your site, every little bit of text information that you can add matters. So what you want to think about there is the title of that gallery, right? Can you say more than this is just my fine art gallery? Can you say fine art photography for print or for whatever, but just more information than just fine art? You can add a lot of information in that gallery title. I don't recommend trying to drop a bunch of keywords in it or anything like that, but just adding a little bit of extra information is really going to help. So thinking about the way that you title that. And then one of the most underutilized features you guys will hear me talk about all the time on Site Review Tuesday is gallery captions, right? So you can go and add a caption to this gallery and you can actually show it up here at the top. And what are gallery captions useful for? The SEO, the same thing, SEO. You can use those gallery captions. And in fact, you want to write them for your visitors because visitors are going to be able to read what the gallery caption says. But in writing that narrative that you're putting in that caption, you want to make sure that you're strategically placing keywords that are relevant to that gallery. You can also add links. A lot of information can go in a gallery caption. They are really powerful. So make sure that you go in and check that feature out. All right, beautiful images, lovely images. For a portfolio gallery, I'm not really sure why we would have select photos. Well, let me take this back because this is not really a portfolio gallery. This is more like a purchasing gallery, right? This is where we can actually go in and buy images. So in this case, it does make sense to have select photos and buy and all of that stuff up here. I think that's fine. Let's go down here really quick. Another thing down here at the bottom we're missing is categories and keywords. So you can add categories, keywords to your gallery, to your images. If you have taken the time to do that already, unfortunately, at the moment, Tom, it's not doing you any good because it's not showing here on your site. So when search engines index your site and they take a look at the information that's in there, what they really look at is they look at the information that's actually visible to your visitors, right? And so if you have categories and keywords, but it's hidden from visitors, then Google's like, that must not be important because it's not important enough to actually show visitors. So we're not going to index that information or take it into account, right? And so you want to make sure that in your galleries, categories and keywords and captions and all of that stuff is turned on. Now, I know I'm talking a lot about SEO. I really seem to go deep in this a lot on Site Review Tuesdays. So if you guys are wondering like, hey, how can I use captions? How can I turn these categories and keywords on? If you will go back to our YouTube channel once the webinar is over, once the live stream's over, do a quick search for SEO on our YouTube channel. I did a live stream a couple of weeks back, and that is everything that I talked about and focused on and broke it down really on a detailed level and shows you how to set up those different settings, how to use them, how to make sure that they're showing so that you get the most benefit out of that. So it's a video that's already on our YouTube channel. There on YouTube, Katie can probably throw the link out, that link out to you guys in chat. When she throws that link out, I'll grab it and throw it in the Zoom chat for you guys who are watching on Zoom. Okay, again, as people are saying, lots of beautiful photos here. You're getting a lot of compliments on the spacing, and they really like the way that this gallery is laid out. It's nice and clean. I totally agree. Let's go back to your portfolio really quick, and let's take a look at one more portfolio because we got about 2 minutes left. And so I want to make sure that I give this site a good review and get to more than just the portfolio. So let's go check out your portraiture really quick and take a look at this. Now, one of the things that I do recommend doing is that you find a way to distinguish your portfolio galleries where you're showing examples of the type of work that you're for hire for, that you find a way to distinguish them from your galleries where you're selling your art, right? Because when you think of portfolio, you really think of, okay, well, this is my example work of the work that I'm for hire. And so what you really want to do is you want to kind of distinguish in your site menu, maybe having a portfolio drop down, but then also having a fine art gallery drop down. To where people know, oh, he does fine art or he does landscapes or art gallery, something like that, to where they can hold on one second. So that way people, when they go to your site, they really see the two different sections. And if they're looking to hire you as a photographer, they know to go browse your portfolio. But if they're looking to buy artwork, they can really easily see where they need to navigate to see the artwork that you have for sale. All right, you guys. 2 minutes left. So you guys can do this in Zoom chat or on the YouTube live chat. Whichever one I see first is the one I'm going to pick. I need you guys to throw a number between 200 to 304 in the chat, and that's going to determine the next site that we review live. If you guys are watching and you haven't submitted your site for review, the links to do that should be in the chats that are there. Okay, let's go check out your client galleries really quick. All right, so here we are in client galleries. And so typically I don't show client galleries on my website for kind of this reason, because I like to keep them locked down. So I'm not sure what's going on here. I would definitely come in and remove this until you either have it set up, or what I personally do is I never show client galleries on the website. I actually use the Zenfolio email invite feature to do that. Okay, so let's go to the about page really quick. Let's see if I can get that in 2 seconds. I just want to take a quick glance at it. All right, cool. So you have a photo on your about page, thumbs up there. So many times I see photographers who don't have a photo of themselves on their about page. And I think that can cause for some really confusing interactions. So great job having an about photo there. And I think you have some good information. So Tom, thank you so much for submitting your site for review. Appreciate you hanging out with us and submitting this. Hopefully I gave you some really good tips, some good ideas, and some things to go back and consider. Really cool about photo though. Okay, let's see. The first number that I saw in chat was, it looks like Roxanne grabbed that with 217. Hey, Roxanne, thanks for jumping on here and hanging out with us. Let me go grab that site really quick. And for those of you guys who are watching on Zoom, I'm about to throw a video link in the chat for you guys to our SEO tutorial that I was talking about. So I just threw that in the chat for you guys to go check out. Now I'm going to go grab site 217 and get that site pulled over. All right, here we go. Let me grab that site, and then we'll get 15 minutes up on the clock and get that review started. So site, was it 217? Yeah, site 217 is Mjcollinsphotography. I'm going to throw that link in the chat for you guys there on YouTube, and then I will do the same for you guys on Zoom. All right. And you guys on Zoom, so the site numbers, this is something that you're not going to see when people submit websites to be reviewed through that form. It actually sets over here kind of out of view where nobody can see it. And every website is kind of assigned random numbers. And then when I ask for random numbers in the chat, you guys throw those numbers out there. And then that kind of determines the next site that I review. So sorry if I wasn't clear about that with you guys on Zoom, but that's how it works. So anytime a site is submitted, it gets a random number assigned to it. And then as we're doing these live streams, I have the chat audience throw out numbers. And the first number I see in the chat, that's what determines the next site that we review. Now, speaking of that, the next site that we're going to review after this one is going to come from one of you guys who are hanging out with us in live chat. So whether you're on YouTube or you're on Zoom, you should see somewhere in the chat a link to submit your site for review. If you haven't done that yet, you can go ahead and submit your site there. That will be the next site that we review. Okay, let's go ahead and get 15 minutes up on the clock and let's get this review started. All right, so this is it Mjcollinsphotography Com. I'm just going to bring this top down so we can talk about this. Same thing I kind of said on the last site up here at the top, thinking about this website title right, adding more information such as the location, the type of photography you do. There's just so much information that you could put in there to really, really help your SEO. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. We're going to go ahead and bring this back up. Really cool logo though. I really like the logo of this, the way it's laid out. I think it's really creative. It tells me a lot about you as a photographer, maybe as a designer if you design this. So Melissa, I think you have a really nicely done logo. I don't have all of my cool buttons and whistles up yet, you guys. So next site review Tuesday, I have all the really cool pop-up stuff back. I just didn't have time to get it this week. So really cool logo. And then we have home, portfolio, utilizing a drop-down menu, storytelling, branding, information, and contact me. So let's talk a little bit about the homepage before we kind of progress through the rest of the site. So I'm just going to kind of go down here. And yeah, as Katie's saying there in chat, the ducks are beautiful. It's just the little baby ducks. quick story. I had baby ducks when I was a kid and they were a blast. They used to follow me down to the river that I live by and go swimming in the river and stuff. It was a lot of fun. Some beautiful images though. And this is utilizing a photo strip. And so what you might notice that's really cool about the photo strip here is that it actually allows you to display landscape orientated images and portrait orientated images without anything being like cropped off or feel like it's blown up too big. Okay. And so the photo strip is a nice option if you want to do that. Now, the downside, the one thing that I'm not a huge fan of the photo strip is it does require the manual sliding for your clients or your visitors to do. So that is something to keep in mind, is in order for them to see the rest of these images, they do have to kind of interact with this. Some people really like that, wow, look at that photo. That one's just amazing. Some people really like this. Some people kind of find it annoying. Curious, what do you guys think in chat? Zoom and YouTube, what do you guys think? The manual slider, do you think it's a plus? Do you like it? Let me know. Curious what your guys' feedback is. But definitely the one thing that you want to make sure is that whatever photography you specialize in, your favorite photography, whatever you want to do the most in, those are the images, and your best images. Those are definitely the images that you want to have up here in these early images, just in case the visitor doesn't really interact with that, that slider. Okay, we're going to go ahead and scroll down. And so one of the things that you guys might notice here is that this page is really interesting. So there's a lot of different things going on here that you might be saying, well, what layout is this? I haven't seen this layout before. And I'm going to be quite honest. I'm not sure how Melissa did this, because part of this does look like a homepage layout, but this could also be a custom page where she's taken some time and embedded some stuff. So Melissa, if you're on, let us know, how'd you do this? Is this a custom page, or did you take advantage of some of the custom text places on a homepage section where you put in some source code? Because also, you guys might notice down in the bottom right corner, she has this message us button right here. So that is definitely some custom coding going on. Thumbs up to you, Melissa, on that. This is a really, really cool page. Also, if you scroll down, you have a video, you have a lot of text information. Now, down here is where we get to where Melissa is located, right here, North Branch. Is that Minnesota? Minnesota, I'm guessing. And talks about all the different types of photography she does. She has her Facebook feed kind of embedded here. So lots of really, really cool stuff. High five, Melissa, to that. This is a really nice job. Really, really cool setup. Okay, so let's go back up here and let's kind of progress through this site that you have set up for. So let's go check out your portfolio. And previously I was talking about a drop menu. This is how you utilize that drop menu, because now I can navigate to these three sections without having to do that extra click of going back to the portfolio and choosing a different category. So let's go to portfolio and galleries. And let's take a look. So one of the things you guys might not have seen just happened is this actually opened up in a new tab. So that is definitely something that I don't recommend happening if you are staying on your Zenfolio site and not losing the Zenfolio navigation. So right here, we clicked on portfolio galleries and that opened up this new tab, but we still have this navigation. So that's not really necessary. And if you're one of those people kind of like I am that you don't really pay attention, and at the end of the day you have like a million tabs open and then things get really confusing and you get really frustrating, that is definitely something that you don't want to be the cause of. So when you're thinking about setting up your site menu items, as long as they're not leaving your Zenfolio account, there's really not a reason to open up in a new tab, as long as it's keeping this navigation here. So I would love to see this just go straight to this page without having this extra tab. So something to think about. Okay, so let's bring this back up really quick and let's just go down. And so take a look at this, you guys. This is really cool. Now, I do want to say that setting up your portfolio this way does kind of nix the, is that the right word? Kind of really not make the best use of the dropdown. Like, hands down, this portfolio page is super cool. I love that you've taken the time to create this. It's a custom page, it looks like to me, that you've set up here. And where we can go and look at these different kind of portfolios that you have. But it kind of really takes away the use of this drop-down menu, because now if I click on seniors, in order to get back to any of those portfolios that I was previously looking at, I now have to either use my back button in my browser, or which I think I just did by accident. Let me go back. I have one of those magic mice that's not always magical. So I either have to use the back button or I have to go back and navigate. Okay. And so looks like this portfolio is kind of a slideshow. So what do you guys think in chat about this experience? For me personally, I like grid view portfolios because as a visitor, one thing that I like to browse, right? And you have to think about, a lot of people do like to browse, but curious what you guys think in chat. So for me, when I go to a portfolio, I want to see a grid view where I can quickly browse through the photos, right? Look at kind of all the different ones. And then if I want to click on one and view it larger, I can. Because this information, or this kind of setup right here, you're really taking that experience and setting it up this way where I can't control it. I can't really quickly browse. I have to kind of sit here and either figure this out. So that's one thing to think about. I would love to see this go to a gallery. And the other thing too is that under this drop-down menu, I would really love to see portfolio, but not go to this page. I would love to see this have a category view. So when we go portfolio, we see seniors, we see children, we see families, we see glamour and headshots. Well, I think that this page is super cool, and I almost hate to say that I wouldn't use it like this. It really does take away the use of that drop down and that simplified navigation. So definitely something to think about. Thinking about that. Now, you could definitely leave this page live. 100%. You could leave this page live, put a lot of SEO information in there, and then just pull it out of the drop down so that it is a page that exists and is searchable, but it's just not navigationable by your drop down, and your drop down would take us to the specific categories. Now, when it comes to clicking on these specific categories, again, I would really love to see this be a grid view. I want this simple capabilities of being able to browse. I'm also missing a lot of information here. We're not seeing a title. We're not seeing gallery captions. We're not seeing keywords and things like that. And so when you build a custom page, you do lose some of that unless you go in and actually add it yourself. And so again, using the gallery captions, the categories and keywords are going to be super helpful as well for your SEO. So definitely something to think about there. Beautiful images though, just absolutely stunning photos. Really beautiful photos. Let's take a look at another portfolio really quick, and then we'll kind of move on and see if we can get through at least a little bit more of this site. Let's take a look at, let's go with your family. Just take a look, because I'm curious to see how this is going to look as well. So this looks like it's kind of the same kind of experience. Now, again, I love that you're doing this custom coding, and something that you should think about, Melissa, on a recent feature that we dropped, and actually I haven't seen it on the past two websites, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that right now. Book me, right? All of these places where you have this little text that says like, hey, contact me now, you could have the book me widget showing with a consultation option. So something that you could really easily do with that book me widget is just have that consultation option in there and have it on these pages. So definitely something to check out. And if you're like, if I can get Katie to throw one of those in the chat, I'll grab it up and throw it to you guys there in Zoom here in just a second. All right, let's keep progressing. Let's go to custom art. Man, just absolutely beautiful photos though, Melissa, just absolutely beautiful. All right, and so this looks like it's kind of showing the custom, man, look at this. Just fantastic, amazing. But this looks like it's kind of showcasing the different designs, the different kind of work that you do, the Photoshop kind of stuff that you can do, just really cool stuff. And I think that this is beautiful, but again, we're missing a lot of information here. So I'm missing a caption. I'm missing more information in the title of this gallery, right? Thinking about the information that you could put in there, categories and keywords, lots of good information that you could have in there. It's just kind of missing right now. It's not there. So something to think about. Okay, let's go to your storytelling and branding. I'm assuming this is probably going to be a custom page. You look like you know your way around custom coding and custom pages pretty well. Really nice job on all that custom stuff. Curious to see what this page is going to look like. So here we go. Check this out. This is really cool. Personal brand photography. Nice. I wish I had all of my fun stuff because I'd be pushing one of the buttons right now to make some pop-ups on the screen, but I don't have any of that. But this is just really cool. It's just nicely done, really well done. What is this? I want to increase my influence. Click next to have a free video. What is this? Okay. There we go. Really cool. That looks like it went to a jot form. So again, just really cool stuff. Really well done, Melissa. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at information, general information, session fees, products, general information. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for an about me page. That's what I'm looking for next. So general information. Oh, did you do an about video? Is that what this is? I'm guessing that's not an about video, but just kind of a demo of your work. That's really cool. So I would love to see some information about you, Melissa, like an about page or something like that. You know, I always say that an about page is kind of where you let the visitor, the client, the potential client know, like, hey, now that you've looked at my work and you like what you see, you're going to like me. This is who I am. And putting information in there that can potentially connect you to those visitors, right? That's what the purpose of the about page is. It is your space to, now that you have the visitor shown your work and they're interested in you and they're progressing forward, that is where you want to kind of seal the deal and be like, not only am I going to provide you with amazing work, beautiful photos, but you're going to love me and we're going to come out of this feeling like friends. Right? You're going to have a great time. We're going to have a fun time. It's going to be an amazing experience. That is the purpose of your about page, to connect as a person with that potential visitor or client. So that's one of the things I do feel like I'm missing here, unless I just didn't see it. But let's keep going. We got like a minute and 18 seconds. Let's check out session fees really quick. Lots of just really cool stuff on this page. I'm really glad to see you jumping in, playing with all these custom pages. For me, the biggest thing that I think I would request that you go back and really think about is the navigation experience for a visitor, right? Thinking about the way that that's set up, the path that you're leading me down, making it streamlined, making it a little bit easier to get to different sections quickly. Just really thinking about that navigational experience up here is really what I would focus on. Let's see. So this is your general setting fees. Again, this would be a great place where BookMe could be used to show this information as well. But I love this custom page. Really nicely done. There is like this giant weird gap right here. I'm not sure what's up with that, if we're missing an image or something like that. So something you might want to check out here. But then let's see, let's go back up here. Let's just keep going. Look at this. This is just really cool. So this is a lot of good information. You're building custom buttons. Look at that. What? Nice. Very, very cool. Very cool. Oh, and a calendar as well. So again, Melissa, I know I've said it a couple of times. You got to check out BookMe. You would love it, love it, love it. It'd be great. Beautiful site though. Absolutely fantastic images, Melissa. Thank you so much for submitting your site. Hopefully I gave you some good pointers to think about. Just gorgeous images. I love the custom stuff that you've done in there. My biggest thing, again, is thinking about that navigational experience and then maybe that portfolio experience. I'm thinking about, is that how you want that experience to be for your visitors? All right, you guys, I am going to take a quick break. I'm going to get a sip of water. Our mods are going to talk to you for a minute, and then we'll come back. And the next site that we review is going to come from one of you guys who are hanging out with us in live chat. So if you have not submitted your site to be reviewed yet, you've got about 30 more seconds to do that, because that's the site that I'm going to be reviewing next. So I'm going to take a quick break and come back and do a live chat audience review. So this is your last warning. Get that site submitted if you haven't done it yet.
Hey, Zenfolio YouTube audience.
Hey, Zenfolio YouTube audience.
Hey, Zenfolio YouTube audience. My name is Richard. I am with Zenfolio's customer success team.
I'm Dennis with Zenfolio Customer Success.
This is Katie with Zenfolio Customer Support.
your helpful moderator on Zenfolio Live.
Zenfolio Live.
On Site Review Tuesdays.
Thank you so much for joining us to learn about Zenfolio and how it can work for you.
We've been doing a variety of giveaways during our broadcast.
When you win our giveaways, we put some cash in your Zenfolio account that you can use toward your subscription, to buy products from our partner vendors, or pass along as gift certificates to your clients.
Look out for questions to show off your support